Politics is that politics of entrepreneurship. You want to take advantage of every position to line up either your pockets or to prop up your power. And in that regard, the whole idea about who should be in the cabinet and who should not be in the cabinet is essentially diversionary. It does not deal with the problem we are dealing with. I've said this before. Your heart is burning. You have been very angry with rats because they have been messing up your lives. So you stop putting the fire, off the fire from your heart.
Burn the house.
Burning hearts and start chasing rats. That's essentially what we are doing in this debate about the cabinet. President Ruto should appoint a whole cabinet by himself. Failure to that is now forcing a coalition government, which is not necessary. You're literally forcing it. It's not necessary. Because you were elected within a specific mandate. We have not entered a state of emergency. We have not been at war at all. We have not been at war. I've woken up every day to go and do what I normally do. Gen Zs don't come to where I am. So I still wake up to go to my office even on Tuesday because I'm not in the city center. So we have not being in the state of war means that we have a constitution to which we have sworn. And President Ruto sworn to protect the constitution. And the constitution gives us two governments. One in power, which is his, the executive, occupying the executive. The other one is the government in waiting, which is in parliament, and which we are now debating whether we should reform it to be able to do its work very well, which you call opposition. And our constitution is very clear about that. So the moment you start muddling all those things up, you're confusing our constitution. The Gen Z have not constituted themselves as an alternative power. They have not constituted themselves as an alternative, political force. What they are putting onto the table is the vision about the future, which both the opposition and the government need to take into account. Meaning, they are calling for a new moral order. And this moral order is not challenging our institution. At no point have they challenged any of the existing institutions. Oh, we want you to abolish this. Oh, we want you to abolish. No, they have not done that. They have simply called for a moral order. Take, for example, this idea of occupying, as the word occupy, meaning going there to demonstrate, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. What was the debate behind it and why occupy? It's about corruption. The debate behind it is about corruption. Now, why are you occupying this and this other place? Because of corruption or mismanagement of our resources. And what is the basis of this argument? We are not able to pay our foreign debts because we are extravagant. We are too careless about our funding. And therefore, we are not able to pay our debt or are struggling to pay our debt because we have mismanaged ourselves. So can we manage ourselves better, put the financial bill aside, and then we manage our resources? Those people with watches, they live within their means. Those people with cars, they live within their means. Those people with this. And can we begin, this is a debate that was beginning, can we begin to cut the income of certain people and nationalize it? Because I don't see the reason why a member of parliament should have more salary than a doctor in this country. Given that to go to medical school here, you have to have a straight A. And this has happened over generations. You have to have a straight A, and you have to stay for more than 4 years training, and after that you have to go to internship and all that pays. For what?
6 years.
You have to go for 6 years in training only to be in the streets. And somebody who had a D or a C in class is now here telling you what to do. I mean, we have to build a community, a society of meritocracy. This is what the Gen Zs are saying. It's about a vision. It's not a replacement of a political order. So why do we need dialogue between the opposition and the government? We don't need it. What is needed is basically the opposition, which is, to me, the failure. We are where we are because our political leadership in the opposition side did not put Ruto to check. If they had constituted a responsible, non-entrepreneurial opposition, the finance bill would not even have seen a day in parliament. President Ruto would not even have had the courage to put it in parliament. But because the opposition failed, this is where we find ourselves in. So now, on top of a failed opposition, you now take it again and you want to merge it with the government? We should share power. Basically, it is muddling things up more than they have been muddled before. So what is the way out? We need to look at this moment as a moment to reflect on the future of our nation across generations. If we are capable of that, and I believe we are looking for a new moral order. A moral order where our country does not appear in the international reports, whether reports of international Transparency International or other groups, as the most corrupt or the most this. We also don't want to appear in records as people who are unable to pay their debts because we are stashing money in foreign accounts and we are carrying money in bags, in planes, and so on. We don't want to also be a people who are not able to provide opportunities for their kids in schools because we have about we are now talking about over 400 bursaries that are paid for by Treasury. And I think that is what Madam Passaris was referring to. Because we have a system of political entrepreneurship where MCA want to have bursary, MP want to have bursaries, women rep want to have bursaries, all MPs have bursaries.
Thank you.
All governors have bursaries. So what do we want? We don't have to have dialogue. We don't have to have a cabinet of national unity. We just need to put our country in order.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes.
Dr. Karanja.
Okay. Yeah, just a follow-up in terms of putting the government in order. Dibal, I think as a country we are striving to live within our means, and it's important for us to live within our means. Yes. But we can't live within our means when we're busy eating our means of production. Yep. There will be nothing left. And it is hard for us to make an argument to citizens in living within our means with the kind of our bloated government that we need to actually renegotiate. Mm-hmm. We have one of the largest governments on the face of the world. And when I say one of the largest governments, I mean a lot of positions at the county level that are not necessary. Mm-hmm. And that is where runaway corruption is so rampant. It's unbelievable, Mm-hmm. Two, some of us in principle, if there are study that's been done to show that actually CDF fundamentally is making a lot of difference. We were meant to have added, I think, CDF 30 million per constituency in this finance bill. Mm-hmm. In my assessment, and based on the studies that we undertake, CDF is not making a fundamentally impact when it comes to the macroeconomics of this country. It's actually sucking resources, most of which is actually wasted. And only a small percentage goes towards building a classroom or two. If we were to make a policy, as legislators, those are some of the things that actually, if they care about this country, they should move towards scrapping, because it has encouraged members of parliament to make arguments for handouts and handouts. Members of parliament are supposed to build schools or pay school fees for the constituents. That is not their work. Their work is to legislate. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that should be scrapped. Four, as we move to the next phase, and it's true that the argument has not exactly been about elite pacting. But elite pacting, we need to have a more comprehensive approach to it in a way in which is also going to change the perceptions of the citizens, so that it is not seen as having nusumkate per se, but it's going to be seen as these changes are fundamental and they're geared towards not just pacifying the angst, but actually making fundamental difference in the lives of Kenyans. Perhaps to make a final point that Prof, I think, alluded to with regard to meritocracy. How can you tell your daughter or your son, who is working very hard in school, when somebody is priding himself, herself, that even though I got a D or an E, look at my position now. And it's not because he or she has been running business and worked hard. No, because they may have been given a position they actually haven't earned. It's extremely discouraging for us to look into the eyes of our daughters and our sons to tell them, go to school and work hard.
Yes.
Right, but it flies in the face of what, you know, the entrepreneur Robert Kiyosaki says, that, you know, it's not necessarily that when you get A's that then you can actually occupy these prime jobs. It's the C's and the D's who will actually employ the A's.
No,
that is the notion which is actually going on. I'm just saying this with my tongue firmly in cheek, because when you speak about the new realities, that could be the new reality also that we are in as well.
Yeah. Before possibly Dr. Bongi comes in, on the point he is making, it is at the heart of our existence as a nation. Because we wake up every day to work. It is true, and we have been told, when we go to hire, because we are employers, where we are, when we go to hire, sometimes you look at two things. You look at the grade, if it's A, and also you look at the character of the person you are hiring. So sometimes you may choose a B over A, but at no time will you choose as a D or an E over A. Those are the things we're talking about, that a cabinet minister had a D, and in this country where we are now 56 million, there are doctors who have no jobs. There are engineers who are selling pineapples.
Some of the doctors have died by suicide.
And some doctors are committing suicide instead of helping people not to commit suicide. They themselves are committing suicide. So the Kenyan situation is not open to jokes. This is a situation which is not open to jokes. It is very serious, because if we are really into the business of building a nation,
yes,
we must be serious about building a nation. If we are into the business of destroying a nation, then let's come out clean and say we are destroying this nation. Because as Dr. Kanenje is asking, what am I going to tell my daughter? That I want you to do medicine, because why should she do medicine? Why should I tell my daughter that she should work hard in school? Because apparently you don't have to work hard in this country. You just need to be a sycophant and train to be yourself, to be a goon, to be hired, and then you earn every day 10,000 for being a goon, to distract people who are in a serious discourse about the future of this nation. So this is where we needed to emphasize this point, because we can make a joke, and we'll always make a joke as Kenyans, and we make jokes at our own expense.
Indeed.
It is the question of meritocracy is at the heart of this. We are hired ourselves as professors. You hired sometimes you sit down and you are doing something for somebody, and you wonder, am I a Kenyan citizen? And I have worked in this situation in South Africa and Wales, where somebody had to be hired because I am not eligible as a non-citizen to attend certain meetings. So he attended on my behalf and come and brief me. I'm now beginning to have the same feeling that you need to belong to a certain group in order to be a citizen in this country. And if you don't, then somebody has to be hired to look after you. We need to go back to meritocracy if we are serious on building the nation.
Right. We just a few minutes to short break. Let's hear from
that's
you.
fine.
Yes.
You know, Deepal, the reason why our leaders seem to be putting off fire using petrol in this crisis